Arya,
Hi.
welcome to the university. So, have a think about this one. Tell me about the one thing about you that you'd rather not talk to us about, and why.
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Sure, of course.
Yes.
It's a bit of a tricky one, isn't
Yes,
it? And by all means, have a look at the
it's a
question.
tongue twister.
Yes. Tell me about one thing about you that you'd rather not talk to us about. Something about you don't want to talk to us about. And why would that be?
One thing I wouldn't want to talk to you about. Well, there's a lot of things that you keep from interviewers, obviously.
Skeletons.
Skeletons. There's not skeletons in my closet. One thing about myself is that sometimes I can't accept defeat.
Okay.
And a lot of my life, I've realised that I'm quite a perfectionist,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the idea of being the best at everything, and I really want to strive my hardest to do everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look great in other people's eyes, and I've realised that over time, I have slowly tried to push this down. So I realised that you can't be the best at everything, and there's always a limit to knowledge, and that medicine's a lifelong learning opportunity. And I guess the more you know in medicine is you realise that the more you don't know. And as a former perfectionist, I like to call myself, I've realised that I can strive my hardest to be the best, but I've got to accept my limits and realise that maybe other people are better to talk to about knowledge that I have no idea about. And I've realised from being with people, like working towards my interviews, people who are like-minded and people who know more than me, it's nice to talk to them and realise that I'm not actually the best at everything, and that this narcissism isn't a great thing. And I guess accept my place and realise that there's so much more to learn and so much more to understand about medicine and a career pathway. But yeah, that's what through learning about, and it's such a competitive course.
Yeah.
I guess throughout my career, my medical degree, hopefully I'll still strive towards perfectionism, but I understand that it's not perfect, I guess.
And it's okay not to win all the time.
Yes.
Okay. So that naturally takes us on to the next point in
Okay.
that in order to improve, we need to get feedback. And you kind of alluded to that about when you mentioned about other people, listening to other people and so forth. So how can we get feedback on ourselves?
I think the best way to get feedback on ourselves is to go out there and say what you want to say. And peers and people who are like-minded like you can criticize you, but constructively. And ask them to criticize you. And it's good to have criticism because it's a way to rebound off your mistakes and learn from yourself, learn from your mistakes, and realize that obviously you aren't the best. And I guess teaching people is a good thing as well. Trying to teach someone and trying to let someone understand certain bits of knowledge. Like, for example, I did tutoring for a bit for people in the year below for GCSE. And teaching someone else made me realize that maybe I wasn't the best teacher, and I don't tutor anymore, but hearing their discoveries and the way they linked things, and they said, oh wait, you've missed this.
Okay.
And it made me realize that I could better myself. And as a result of that, I looked back at my GCSE specification, I tried to link things, and I realized maybe this will relate to my A-levels. And it was good to have feedback on myself, especially when I thought that my GCSEs were over, even though I wasn't actually the greatest at it.
Sure.
So that was a great example of feedback for myself. And I think it really helped me.
Anything else?
A good way of getting feedback. Something else that I've liked to do before is to record myself, especially during trying to prepare myself for interviews.
Okay.
Recording myself for interviews and kind of criticizing myself and looking at what other people could think about. Like, always asking myself, what if? What if I did this better? What if I tried to iron out all the creases?
Okay.
Obviously, your own self-feedback may not be as great as other people, but I think criticizing yourself and understanding there is a place that you won't know and understand everything is
All right.
a good baseline feedback.
Fine. Okay, understood. So how can we implement change to improve our knowledge?
How can we implement change to improve our knowledge? I think, as I said before about talking to other people, is a great way to improve knowledge. I think adapting our mindset to be more of a growth mindset rather than being quite in the moment and almost egotistical and thinking that you can't change anymore. Knowing that there is always room for change and there's wiggle room to make sure that you can improve your knowledge. So learning from other people, I remember reading books in preparation for applying to medicine.
Okay.
Realizing that people think completely different to the way that we do, and people have different trains of thought. So, like, I read a book called, I forgot what it was called. It was called "The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat," and the way that he actually interpreted the field of medicine was so different to what I'd seen before. He was a psychiatrist, I believe, and rather than thinking about the patient as a set of symptoms, he thought about them as a person in a way that they would interact with you, and that the diseases aren't just one list and they don't follow a regular pattern. And I was thinking about that, and it made me realize that maybe medicine's a really complex field, and learning other people's styles and other people's ways and reading research and things is a great way to implement change and unlock new doors to new areas of opportunity for knowledge.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.